My name is Abby, and for my final presentation, I will be focusing on the rise of natural gas and the subsequent regulation of fracking in the US. My goal is to investigate if the benefits of regulation in this industry outweigh the cost. I can then determine if it is possible to achieve the appropriate balance between equity and efficiency in the fracking industry. So, to begin, I want to give a little bit of background on the rise of natural gas in the US. Natural gas is currently seen as a vital energy source. Its rise in popularity is due to the fact that its consumption can significantly reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. The Union of Concerned Scientists reported that natural gas emits 50 to 60% less carbon dioxide during combustion than coal. It is currently seen as the transition fuel from non-renewable to renewable energy sources. The graph from the Energy Information Administration displays the increased consumption of coal in the US from 1950 to 2010. The EIA also reports that natural gas currently supplies more than one half of the energy consumed by residential and commercial customers, and they expect natural gas production to grow 44% in the US between 2011 and 2040. Right? However, the reserves in which we could extract natural gas from conventional drilling began to run low in the early 2000s. New techniques to extract natural gas were needed in order to meet the increasing demand. The unconventional natural gas extraction, i.e., hydraulic fracking, was introduced into the natural gas industry. Fracking is the high-pressure injection of water, chemicals, and sand into shale deposits to release the natural gas trapped within the rock. Fracking allowed miners to harvest stores of gas that were impossible to reach before and solved the issue of the shortage of natural gas. Regulation of fracking has largely been left to state governments. In fact, the major federal environmental laws regulating hazardous waste, air pollution, and water pollution all have significant loopholes that exempt fracking. I began my investigation by analyzing the impact of the unregulated fracking industry on the health of residents living near the fracking sites in Pennsylvania. A study conducted in 2013 found that the proximity of mothers' residence to wells increased the prevalence of negative health outcomes for infants, such as low birth weight. They concluded that living within 2.5 kilometers of a shale gas well increased the incidence of low birth weight by 25%. These findings imply that there may be a systematic mechanism through which oil and gas activities can affect birth outcomes and infant health. Furthermore, in order to frack, an enormous amount of water is mixed with various toxic chemical compounds such as radium to create frack fluid. Because radium is water soluble, all frack fluid used in Pennsylvania became radioactive to some degree. Radon is a radioactive byproduct of radium and is the second leading cause of lung cancer globally. Because Pennsylvania is known to have some of the highest indoor radon levels in the United States, the element has been measured by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, for decades. A study in 2015 found that each additional well increased radon levels by 2.8% on the first floor of a building. They concluded that proximity to unconventional natural gas wells has increased the exposure to a cancer-causing element. It is important to note that these are all preliminary studies, and the extent to which fracking impacts human health requires additional research. This problem stems from very little information regarding the chemicals used in fracking fluid, as well as lack of information about the extent of pollution from fracking sites. Overall, initial evidence indicates that unconventional natural gas development has negative externalities on the surrounding area. However, as these externalities are not very well known, fracking companies do not take them into account when deciding how much natural gas to extract. Furthermore, increased natural gas extraction leads to economic efficiency. The rise of hydraulic fracking results in increased job opportunities in Pennsylvania. From 2007 to 2012, total annual average employment in the oil and natural gas industry in Pennsylvania increased by 259.3%. The direct jobs in Pennsylvania are in part a result of construction, gas extraction, metal fabrication, and truck transport. Fracking companies also manufacture the chemicals and employment used for fracking. Indirect jobs may include the financial and administrative services, as well as any real estate linked to natural gas extraction. Fracking creates a better job market for Pennsylvania with a large variety of new employment opportunities. The increase in demand for labor, may also lead to a possible growth in wages in the natural gas industry. A rise in wages corresponds to an increase in income. These workers now have more money to spend on consuming goods and services, and they will then expand the positive economic impacts of fracking and create jobs in other sectors of the economy. The creation of more jobs will continue to increase income. A study in 2015 of Pennsylvania tax data from 2007 to 2010 found that counties with high levels of fracking saw an increase in taxable income by 6%. An increase in taxable income may lead to an increase in the quality of life for residents living in Pennsylvania. Lastly, there are environmental benefits associated with an increase in the production of natural gas. As stated before, natural gas is a cleaner energy source than fossil fuels and will help us decrease our greenhouse gas emissions. Natural gas can act as a bridge fuel to buy us time to develop renewable energy sources that will ultimately replace fossil fuels. So, as you can see, in the current state, companies will continue to perform unconventional natural gas extraction until their marginal cost curve, shown as the marginal abatement cost curve in this graph, becomes negative. They will not consider the marginal damages associated with each ton of natural gas extracted. This problem stems from the fact that there's not adequate information on the damages from fracking to properly construct the marginal damages curve. The fracking industry requires regulation in order to internalize the negative externalities associated with fracking and achieve the optimal balance between equity and efficiency within the industry. A possible solution to the problem is required inspection of natural gas wells. As stated before, the regulation of fracking has largely been left to state governments, and these governments usually do not require or enforce the inspection of unconventional wells. The required and enforced regulation of unconventional wells helps us take the first step to achieve the appropriate balance between equity and efficiency in the fracking industry. These inspections would prevent leaks and monitor the ambient air and water qualities in the surrounding community. They would lower the marginal damages of people living close to the unconventional wells. These inspections would also lead the way in providing more information about the extent of pollution from fracking sites. The industry can then be required to report extensive information regarding the chemicals used in fracking fluid and conduct studies to determine human health impacts. This would allow the systematic analysis of health effects on residents living near oil and gas operations. The Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection can then better understand the negative externalities associated with fracking in order to properly construct a marginal damages curve. An improved marginal damages curve will help the government of Pennsylvania better understand what the appropriate amount of natural gas extraction may be. However, the required inspection of unconventional wells will come at a cost. Inspection can be viewed as an input toward the extraction of natural gas, and an increase in the cost of well inspection would subsequently increase the price of natural gas. People consume natural gas, and therefore an increase in the price would be regressive, as lower-income people spend a higher percentage of their income on consumption. Likewise, fracking industry is historically uncooperative. In the past, big oil and gas companies have been given significant leeway and have violated anti-fracking laws. Therefore, strong penalties will have to be put in place in order to induce cooperation. Regulation in the fracking industry will not be effective without great pressure on the industry to comply with state laws. In conclusion, the rise of natural gas in the U.S. has caused the subsequent rise of unconventional natural gas extraction, i.e. hydraulic fracking. Currently, the fracking industry is unregulated. Preliminary studies revealing possible health effects of fracking reveal unrestricted fracking may be inequitable. However, there are economic and environmental benefits to an increase in natural gas extraction. Although this is up for debate, I argue the benefits of regulation in the form of an increased inspection of natural gas wells outweigh the cost. Consumers may not mind an increase in the price of natural gas if they are fully aware of the health effects and extent of pollution that stem from the increase in hydraulic fracking. They will also be paying to decrease their marginal cost of damages. Fracking is an intensely debated topic both politically and economically, but I hope our government can come to a solution that will ultimately create the perfect balance between equity and efficiency in the industry. Thank you.